Political correctness isn't civilized courtesy. It's the largest social engineering operation ever executed to transform cowardice into a moral virtue. Under the guise of sensitivity and inclusion, a system has been created where telling the truth has become an act of social transgression, while lying by omission is celebrated as wisdom. Nietzsche warned that there are no moral facts, only moral interpretations of facts. He understood that when a society begins to criminalize certain interpretations of reality, it is paving the way for an intellectual dictatorship that will make the totalitarians of the past seem simple. Analyze how this perverse alchemy works, transforming cowards into moral saints. First, an ever-growing list of unquestionable topics is established. Then, any attempt at rational discussion about these topics is labeled as hate speech, intolerance, or violence. Next, a system of social and economic punishments is created that is so severe that even established professionals prefer to self-censor rather than risk their careers. Finally, those who remain silent are praised for their sensitivity, while those who speak the truth are demonized as dangerous extremists. The result is a complete moral inversion where intellectual courage becomes a sin and intellectual cowardice becomes a virtue. University professors who should be the guardians of free debate have become propagandists who punish students for asking uncomfortable questions. Journalists who should investigate and expose the truth have transformed into activists who distort facts to promote pre-approved narratives. Scientists who should question established dogmas have become bureaucrats who hide inconvenient research to maintain institutional funding. This culture of forced conformity doesn't protect vulnerable minorities. It infantilizes all social groups by assuming they are incapable of handling challenging ideas. It doesn't promote equality. It creates rigid hierarchies based on perceived victimhood status. It doesn't combat prejudices. It institutionalizes new prejudices against anyone who dares to think independently. And it doesn't build a more just society. It builds a more cowardly society, where real problems are never solved because they can't be honestly discussed. The most devastating aspect of this operation is how it sabotages the very possibility of real social progress. When you can't discuss problems honestly, you can't develop effective solutions. When you can't question flawed policies, they perpetuate indefinitely. When you can't criticize incompetent authorities, they become tyrannical. And when you can't express divergence, your society transforms into a theater of false consensus, where everyone pretends to agree with policies they secretly know to be destructive. But perhaps the deepest damage is how this mindset destroys individual identity itself. When your personal expression must be constantly filtered by collective approval, you lose touch with who you truly are. When your opinions must be pre-approved by social sensitivity committees, you cease to have authentic opinions. When your language must be policed by external standards, you cease to have a voice of your own. And when your courage must be subordinated to the maintenance of superficial harmony, you cease to be an individual and become just another component in a social conformity machine. Comfort has ceased to be a reward and has transformed into the most efficient weapon of mass domestication in history. And now that you've seen how society profits from your cowardice, pretending you're free is no longer an option.